Hi everyone, it's Deborah Kozlovic here from Creating Your Memories. Today I want to share with you the project recipe for Vintage Chic. So Vintage Chic was released this month and this is the punch. It's called an elegant diamond. It's very fine and a lot of pieces that need to be cut out on that. Also we have some different pocket embellishments, so they're like little envelopes, and then some other embellishments which like tags and little journal boxes to write on, and you've got all those gorgeous, you know, like tans, oranges and purple and blue colors in there. And also with this collection you got the Vintage Chic tile letters. So they look something similar to, like, you know, block letters that you would play on a Scrabble board or something like that. And these gorgeous mat cards. So with their mat cards you get your 6x4s, and then you also get your 6.5 by 4.5 mat cards. And then in this collection also you have a choice of 2 paper packs. So the first one is your designer paper pack in the Vintage Chic. So as you can see, there's some beautiful colors and some beautiful designs in that layout that you could use on any of your pages. And then you also have the Vintage Chic tone on tone paper pack, which also has some beautiful colors that coordinate with your designer paper pack. And up in the little right hand corner here, if some of you are not aware, that gives you a guide of what different cardstocks that you can actually use for the Vintage Chic. So for example, you know, like with this pack you can use tangerine, pumpkin, island waters, purple ice and beige will go really good with these paper packs. So today, as I said, we're going to be working on a project recipe. I haven't done a project recipe layout with yous on my YouTube channel, so this will be a very first. And I have chosen a few papers that I am going to use. So I'm going to use the orange, which I'll use that to punch the elegant diamond punch. What else do we have here? And I've also got this paper, which in this design here I'm going to be using where the purple is. And then I have another 2 pieces of paper. This one is out of your tone on tone, and I'm going to be using that for our base pages. So to get started you will need 4 different designer papers. So you want 2 for the base, and then you want another 2. So with our project recipes, just backtracking a little bit, you also have a cut layout, and that will work out, you know, like what letters coordinate with the front to work out what colors that you would like to use in your page layout. So we need 4 designer papers, or if you like to use a cardstock for your base, you're welcome to do that also. We'll need some repositional tape, your 12-inch trimmer, and today I'm going to be using one of these matte cards I should say, on my layout. And also I'm going to be using some of the embellishments. The other extra thing that you would need is a scrap piece of paper, because we will be doing some welding, so that's joining 2 pieces of paper together, and I like to use the adhesive tape to do that on mine. So first of all, just clear out some of this stuff out of the way. So first of all, we go to our instructions. I'm going to be working on my 2 base pages, so I'm just going to get them out and bring in the 12-inch trimmer, and I want to cut them in half. So I'm going to join them together and cut them in 6 by 12. So because I've got two pieces of paper together, I'm going to have to press a little bit more firmly to make sure that they both cut through. So that is our base. So, and now I'm just going to bring in that scrap piece of card. You don't need a lot. So I'm just going to get, I usually use an inch. So I'll need 2 of those. And this is called welding. So these will join our 2 pages up together to make it back a 12 by 12. So I'll show you how we're going to do that. Is that you've got your 2 pieces of paper, and in the design of this project recipe you can see that it's 2 different colors. So I'm going to be using the brown, and then the brown on the outside, the cream in the middle, and then the same with the reverse. So you've got the cream, and then I'll use the brown on there. So I'm going to get my tape. With the adhesive tape, the sticky is only on one side. So I usually put it going down like this. So I use it the whole lot. And then I'm just going to cut it at the end, and then I'm just going to turn that around and do exactly the same on the opposite side. So now I'm going to do that on the next one. You don't have to use the Creative Memories adhesive tape. You can use tape chips, or if you like, you can still use your normal tape runner. We'll also do the same thing. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is just going to find my multi-purpose tool, and I'm just going to lift up one side. So I'm going to get my first piece of paper, and I'm just going to line it up, and then line it up down the bottom. I don't need to use matte because I know that these 2 pieces of paper are going to make the 12 by 12 size. So now I've got my other side. So now all I'm going to do is put the next one against that side, and then down the bottom, and adhere that down. I think I got a little bit of a bubble. I'm just going to try and lift that. So now we're going to work on our second base page. So I'm just going to do exactly the same thing as I did on the first one. So we're just going to lay down one side and then the other. So now I'm just going to put down this side. So I'm just going to line it up to the top, matching your other 6 by 12 piece of paper, and holding it so it's all lined up in the middle, and then putting it down. So they are our base pages that we're going to be using. Now I'm going to work on the strips. So that's 2 3/4 by 12. So I'm just going to bring back in the trimmer And with that one, I wanted to use this design because I thought it would look nice just going down on the side there. So as I said, we need to cut these at 2 3/4. So you want 2 of those. And then one more at 2 3/4 by 12. And they get adhered into the middle bit on the left. So I actually just put my page the right way. So they will go like that. So what I'm going to do is where my join mark is, I am going to put those a little bit over top of that so you don't see that. So they will be adhered on the page like that. So I'm going to do that now, and I'm just going to use the repositional tape. So I'm just going to put a little bit covering over just to cover up that join line. And then I'm going to do exactly the same thing on the opposite side. My base pages are the out of the Tone on Tone pack with Vintage Chic. The one that I'm adhering down on my page now, the 2 3/4 one, that is out of the designer paper. So that is my, yeah, so that is the layout there. It goes like this. But I'm thinking I want the brown on the outside. Yeah, so I might lift that. And put it on the brown. Yeah, this way. I think it looks a little bit better. So the good thing about using the repositional tape that it was easy to lift up, and then you can just rub over and rub off that excess. I think that looks a lot better on the brown. It seems to stand out a little bit more. So I'm just going to do exactly the same thing on the opposite side. Yeah. So adhering that down. Just rubbing that excess off. So I think doing it like this is a lot better. I like that on the brown. Seems to stand out a lot more. So we've done that bit. So the next step that we're going to do is our punching with the Elegant Diamond. And the paper that I'm using for that one, this is also added the Tone on Tone. And with this punch, it has got a smaller guide in the middle, and I think it also does a little bit more punches than our normal border maker punches because it's got a lot of fiddly and design work in there, and it's also got your little triangles down the bottom to match up as you go along, so you don't feed it through as much as our other border punches. So it's the first time I'm using this punch, so we'll see how we go. So I'm just going to line it up on that black line and punch. And as you can see there, that's the design that it makes out. So I'm just going to put that back in, and I'm sure that we just line it up on here. It's lining it up here, and then punch, and then just moving it over there, and punch. So far so good. Okay, so we're just going to move it along, and then we're going to punch again, and then this one here, and then the next one. It's very delicate, this, not the punch, just the design of the punch as you're feeding it through. So there we have that nice gorgeous border. So because we have these triangle bits, I am going to trim that off so it's even through on the trimmer. So I'm just going to, you know, cut those ends off. It's only like 1/8, and then we are going to punch one more. So I'm just going to make sure that I don't have anything in there. So I'm just going to line it up again on our black lines at the front, and then punch. And then you don't go all the way to the end. It's only to that first blue color design on your pad on the punch. So then go to the next one and punch. So then we're here. Normally when you're working with your other punch, it's a little bit quicker than what I will do on this design, but it is a beautiful design. I like the elegant diamond punch. Okay, so there's our 2 border strips that we wanted. So I'm just going to clear up this rubbish. There's nothing in here that you could salvage really. Okay, so bringing back in our design now. So we've got our 2 punches. Also bringing back in the project recipe guide. So we've got half down the bottom and half up the top. So we want to bring back in that trimmer, and we want to cut them in half. So that'll be 6 inches. And then the other one at 6 inches. So I'm just going to bring in the mat now. And then also just using the repositional tape. And we want to put 2 up the top and 2 down the bottom. So if my pages go like this, we want 1 here. And I think it's just up from the bottom of the page. Yeah, it's a little bit up from the bottom of the page. So I'm not actually going to measure mine exact. So I'm just going to lay it and eyeball it. So we've got 1. do the next bottom page. So making sure that they both line up, I'm just going to put the pages together. So the paper is a little bit longer, which you get that in some of the pages. So I'm just going to tuck that underneath there. So now we're going to work on the top, and we're going to do exactly the same thing. So we're just going to take it from the top here. Even it out and just eyeballing it. Just want to see if that's, yep, so we do that one there. And then we want to do exactly the same thing on this side. So that is the, whoops, I think I've just done that upside down. No, I haven't done it like that. Yep, so I need to do it on this side. Just a little bit confusing then. So we're just going to line that up. And then put it on. Okay. So as you can see, using that elegant diamond punch, it's actually made a nice effect on the page. So now that we've got our base page nearly completely done, the only thing that's left that you need to do now on this page is your photo mats, which are also in your little cutting guide here. So then here we have the 4.5 by 6.5, and that's exactly the same size as our mats. So you got 4.5 and 6 size, and these will make great photo mats for your pages. There's also some journaling on some of the sides. If you don't want to put, you know, like an extra 6x4 photo, you can also put one of these little journaler boxes instead. And, you know, and that could go on here, something like that. Or you can use it as a photo. And the other photo sizes that we have here is a 6x4, which are these ones here, is our smaller ones, which is 6x4, and you have two 6x4s, and then you have two 4.5 by 4.5. So on my layout today, I decided to, putting like this, decided to use this one here. The photo mat says a 4.5 by 6, I mean a 4.5 by 4.5, but because our mat is only a 4 by 6, I'm going to have to back it with something else. But I'm thinking that if I use another card, it's going to be, the weight wise is going to be heavy. So I can mat it on something like that, or that one. What else do we have here? So we've got the blue and those colours on the opposite side. First of all, I'm going to cut this one down to a 4x4. So I just want to take even amounts of each side. So it's a 6. So if I take 5, so that'll make 5. And then take another 1/2 inch off this side, which that makes a 5 by 4. So then if I take another 1/4, I want to try and keep that design there. So then if I take another 1/4, that should be 4 1/2. So to keep that design, I think I might leave it at 4 1/2 by, let me just see. So we've got the measurements here. So we've got 4 1/2 by 4. So, and to put that on my page layout, I do want it sitting there. So I might not back it or anything, I don't think. So I might just have that one there. And then we've got 2 6 1/2 by 4 1/2. So I might use, just want to measure this one, so that would be 6 1/2. So I'm going to cut this into 2 4 1/2 by 6 1/2. And then another 4 1/2. So we have the 6 1/2 and then a 6 1/2, and then we have that one up there. So the next thing I need to find is, so I've got another 4 1/2 by 4 1/2 here and a 6 by 4 on either side. So if I go back through my mats, I might find another mat. So I've got exactly the same size on the opposite side. So I might use maybe the plain orange. You might use that one. So that I cut that at 4 1/2. So I'm also going to cut this 4 1/2. So it's 4 1/2 by 4. And that will go there. So I might adhere these down. So looking at our project recipe now, so they are sitting just above, and it's probably about 1/2 inch from the side. And then we've got this one here, which is in line with your bottom one. So it's also about 1/2 inch from the side. So now we're going to do the opposite side. Just going to be using repositional tape because they can be moved. Oops. So putting these together. So run about that 1/2 inch from the side. I'm hoping that these are crooked because I mean, not crooked, I should say. I'm hoping that these are straight because I am just eyeballing them. Normally I'll use my mat with a ruler so I can come back and fix these up. Hang on. That was a bigger mat. So I need to cut that. Just take that repositional tape off. So I need to cut this down to a 4. So we've got 4 1/2. So I need to take one end off at 4. Yep, so that matches up with that. So just keeping that in line and putting this one down at so like 1/2 inch from the side. So as you can see now, this layout is coming together. Just trying to keep it in view of my camera because it is a double page layout. So the only thing that I have left to do now is the two photos that they have down the side, and those mats are, as I said previously, they're a 6x4. So I think I might just do them in that light colour. I don't think I want any more orange. So I'm just going to bring in the trimmer and I'm going to cut them at 4. And it's great with this personal trimmer because you can cut them at 6. Makes it so much easier. So now I'm just going to adhere these ones down the side, the two 6x4s. So when you put your photos on them, you're just going to cut either 1/4 of an inch on either side, or if you want less of your photo, you can cut them down to 3.5 by 5.5. So these photo mats, they go down a little bit further, but I'm still going to keep it like 1/2 inch from that edge and 1/2 inch from the bottom. So we've got that one, and then we have this one, so then we have that the base page is done, and we have our photo mats down. We've done our elegant diamond border punch. I'm loving these colors. I wasn't sure how it was going to look, but I do love the colours that I have chosen to complete this project recipe out of. I like how I've used a nice little title from our mat cards. So with this design now, the only other thing that they've used is some of those little cards. It's a shame that with this collection, the Vintage Chic, we don't have stickers with this one. So they've only used you know, like a couple of these, which is also used for like a little journal box, or with got some nice flower ones, and it's, you know, they've got little lines on there so you can do some journaling. Or you've got one of these cards, they're like little library cards that you used to have in the back of our books back in the day. The other thing that you could use are these little pockets, so like little envelopes. So very little cute. Got these as well, all different colours, all different sizes, all different designs. So I'm thinking that maybe on one of my side of the pages, I'm thinking I might use a pocket. Let's get a little bit of purple. Because I haven't got any purple, I might use the blue. And then find a little card that can stick out the top. So I might use maybe this one. I might have something like that, or let me see, I'll use the blue and orange, I think, because they go like that. Oh, they will fit in there like that. I might take that one out and put in this like that, and maybe have that off to the side. And then you've got on the opposite side, they've got also, you know, like the similar thing So which one did I use over here? That one. So might use this one. And then I've just got another little journaling thing on that side. Which might use this one, the lines. Yeah, I might use a plain one. So then they've just put it, you know, something like that on the side there. So I'm just going to use some repositional tape. And adhere them down. So I think it's on a little bit of an angle going this way. And then you've got this one going, might move it down a bit, like that. So we've got that one. And then on the opposite side, I'm going to use the tape runner to stick this one down to give it more support. So I'm just going to angle it a little bit that way and repositional tape. Let me see. I think I might leave it without. Yeah, I'm going to leave that one without. I think it looks a little bit better. Yeah, I think so. So I'm just going to leave that one without. So I hope you enjoyed my first project recipe using Vintage Chic and also using the Elegant Diamond border punch. This is great for, you know, this punch, you know, the design that it punches out. It'd be good for like a wedding page or something like that, Mother's Day. I want to thank you all for tuning in today on my little take with Vintage Chic and using the project recipe and also the Elegant Diamond border punch. This is my layout. I'm loving the colors that I've chosen between, you know, the browns, the little tans and the beiges and the oranges and the light blue, and loving this new border punch, the Elegant Diamond. It would also look nice on a wedding page, which I might try that out with all the little designs. So I hope you enjoyed it today, and thank you everybody for tuning in.